Like this video? Why not subscribe? Today on MH News, we're talking about GoPro cameras. Welcome to MH News, everyone. I'm your host, Matt Haslam, and as always, if you like this video, like and subscribe to our channel for plenty of great content to come. Every Monday and Thursday, new episodes come out, so look forward to that. Now, this past week, one of my good friends, Dave Walters, who actually was on the show before, asked me a good question. Matt, I need some help on the camera area. I'm looking for an inexpensive camera that will take great video and still photos at HD quality. The camera will also need to be able to take still shots on a timed interval of over, say, a 3-hour period. Interval settings to go from maybe 1 second to possibly minutes. Cost is a major factor. It should also be able to record decent audio as well. Now, I already commented on this on Facebook and replied to his private message here, but I wanted to share his message because basically a lot of us have the same question. We're all looking to get great quality cameras for as low of a cost as we possibly can. I mean, isn't that what we're all after, to lower our cost and get a much better quality product? So basically a lot of us have this question. Maybe you would word your email a little bit differently, but for the most part, this is the topic. And I don't like talking about gear too much at length because I think, it's a crutch to not go out there and actually work, to say, well, I don't have this camera yet, so how can I do this shot? No, you can still do the shot. Go out and do it. Don't wait for something to happen. Don't wait for that camera to come in. So basically that's what I always say on the show here. But for this question, I really wanted to allude on the GoPro camera line because I think nowadays cameras are coming down in cost. And we have what's called a law of diminishing returns. Now, Griffin Hammond from Indie Mogul commented on this on a class on Creative Live seminar maybe a month or so ago. I very highly encourage you to go watch that class on Creative Live right now. He did an amazing job on that class. I think it was called Documentary Filmmaking by Griffin Hammond. But basically, what he alluded to was you can spend $10,000 on a camera, but it's not going to get you that much better of an image. You can go out there and buy yourself a Red Epic camera, which costs $25,000 plus a lens. But is it going to get that much better of a quality image compared to the maybe, say, GH4 camera, which is only $2,000 or $3,000? Is it that much better? And further from that, is that GH4 better than a GH2 or a Canon T5i? Yes, you're going to get maybe 6K out of a resolution out of a Red Epic camera, but really you can get 4K out of a GoPro nowadays. It's only $500. So that's why we're talking about cameras today. And I love the GoPro line. Now, if you're looking for a close-up shot or you're just doing video, then I don't encourage the GoPro camera if you're just going for video. But if you're looking for great time lapses, still image camera, or you're looking for an underwater camera, have a GoPro, at least one, on your inventory. Basically, we have DSLRs around here. We have over-the-shoulder cameras. We have GoPros. But the GoPro probably gets used more often than anything else we have because it's so versatile. I mean, this thing you can put up in corners or some of that. We have suction cup mounts. We can put it on top of our car, on the side of our car, wherever. You can put it anywhere, really, and it pretty much works anywhere you put it because it has this 120-degree viewing angle from this camera lens here. And basically, if you run some tests, as soon as you get a GoPro camera, run some tests on it, and you're going to find kind of the same thing I did. There's two problems with a GoPro camera. The first of which, it has a really wide angle on it. So it has a 120-degree viewing angle. So if you were right here, it would see pretty much that and that. And it's really wide angle lens, so you can't get a close-up shot unless you bring that camera really far in. And even then, it looks kind of weird when you're too close to something because of that fisheye lens. So it doesn't get close-ups that well. But it does get great audio. There's plenty of times where I've scrapped audio from our Zoom H4n over here recording, and because the GoPro camera has a lot better quality sound sometimes. There's, for instance, a video we did up in Centralia. Actually, all the audio from that came from the GoPro camera that we were using that day. So it has great audio on it, and I'm very impressed with the audio, even on a Hero 3 White Edition, which is what this one actually is in my hands here. Now, I know the GoPro 4 Hero 4 line has 4K and all this kind of stuff, and I haven't actually gotten a chance to work with the Hero 4 line yet too much. I've worked with a little bit here and there, but very rarely do I get to work with those, just because I much prefer using the Hero 3 line, which is what I own, and I'd rather use this than rent a Hero 4 one or borrow one from a friend. It's just a little bit easier for me because I actually just have them on inventory here. But even this, which is only $200 camera, gets great quality. I mean, you're still getting 1920 by 1080 video. You're getting at, I think, 30 frames per second, which, unless you want a ton of slow motion stuff, you don't really need the 60 frames per second that the Hero 4 line does, or I think the Hero 3 Black Edition gets. You don't need to spend the extra money if you don't need that. You don't need that function. You know, why spend all this money on a Hero 4 Black Edition for 4K when you're not going to be able to use that 4K if your computer doesn't have the RAM to play it? So why have that if you can't use it anyway? So I say a $200 camera like this works great. And basically, I would much prefer spending $200 on this and then getting a couple accessories than maybe buying a $500 Hero 4 Black Edition. And I'll tell you why in a couple minutes. But basically, for this camera, we have a bunch of different accessories for it. We have a suction cup mount that allows us to put it on top of our car, on the side of our car, pretty much anywhere we can possibly think of that's a flat surface. We also have, you know, a little pipe one that allows us to put it onto a piece of trussing or anything really, or roll bar in a car, whatever. You know, if we're doing a stunt that day or something like that, that's a great little mount to put it anywhere you want, along with some extra fittings to put it there. But with this, you know, I say with gear, don't go out there and spend a whole bunch of money going directly for all the accessories. Now, the camera itself, yes, go to B&H Photo Video, go to Sammy's Camera, go to Best Buy, go to Staples, I think, go to Walmart, buy the camera, or Cabela's, buy the camera there. And that's what I suggested to my friend Dave. Go there and buy the camera, but for the accessories, it's a lot better and cheaper to go on eBay or Amazon to find these accessories. For instance, our suction cup mount, I think, was $30 or $40 from GoPro directly, or it was $9 on Amazon. Where did we get it from? Amazon. Because it's a lot cheaper and was just as good a quality. Now, the camera itself, you can find cameras on Amazon and eBay for a lot cheaper and the same exact ones, but you know, you are basically entrusting that it's not used. You're entrusting that it is an actual camera, not just some knockoff. So I'd much prefer to go direct with that kind of thing to a major retailer, because they're going to be trustworthy with it. I'm going to get the warranty with it. If I go to B&H, I'm going to get the warranty with the camera, and now I'm able to have that warranty behind it. And that way, if it gets smashed or something like that, I can use that warranty. Or if it breaks or something like that, I can use that warranty. With going Amazon or eBay, I might not have that. Also with that, a lot of times I'll actually go to Best Buy or somewhere that I have a credit card with, and I can pay it off over the course of a couple months. That way I'm not paying for it all at once. That's exactly what happened with my camera. My main cameras that we use, they're awfully expensive, so to pay for that all at once is just crazy. So go somewhere that you can pay it off over time, and Amazon or eBay, you can do that with PayPal, I believe, or Amazon credit cards. But for me, it was a lot easier to just go with Best Buy or B&H, because I think the people there are much, much nicer and they're more helpful. Now, with the cameras themselves, a lot of people ask a bunch of questions about these. The main thing is the battery life on them. How long does the battery last? That's the one thing I constantly hear on these things. On a full charge, the Hero 3 White Edition, which is what I'm holding in my hands here, under time lapse, it takes 344 pictures set at an interval of 30 seconds. And I had a 64 gigabyte SD card in here, so you know it had plenty of space left over. All I was testing with that test was how long the battery would last. And in order to find that, I just took however many pictures it took and multiplied that by the 30 seconds and figured out how many minutes it was taking those photos for. And the minutes on the battery life under that setting is 172 minutes, which means the battery life lasted 2 hours and 52 minutes. So that's pretty darn good. For a full charge under 1080p video and just recording a video continuously, number of seconds it recorded was 8100 seconds, which means the battery lasted 2 hours and 15 minutes, which is pretty darn good for the battery life. Now, basically, I bought an extra battery for this one because I want to be able to switch out. I want to be able to go all day. So I bought a couple extra batteries directly from GoPro, and now I can shoot that 8 or 10 hour long video shoot in production day. I can go out in the middle of the forest, I can put this anywhere I want and not have to worry about that battery. Another way I found to combat this was actually to take the entire GoPro camera out of this housing. Now I know they sell different housings for this that allow you to do this for like, I think $40. Again, you can find that housing itself a lot cheaper online for about $5. I found it on Amazon. But with that, the battery life a lot of people complain about, but I combat that by just plugging in the USB here, and then I take that USB cable and run it directly to a power source. I have a $15 USB to AC power adapter, and that way I can plug an extension cord into this actual GoPro without having to worry about that battery dying because it has constant power. It can charge while it's recording, and that's what a lot of people have questions on. So I'm able to put this anywhere, put a little mic clip up here, put it on a mic stand, raise it up as high as I want, and put an extension cord on it, plug it in, and leave it go. Have a 64 gigabyte micro SD card in here, so it's going to record for as long as I possibly want, do time lapses for as long as I want, and I'm able to do maybe 6-8 hours before that SD card runs out. So that's really good for me. I'm able to do that with this camera, and little tiny hacks like that make a camera great. I mean, it's, again, that's what it is. It's not about the camera, it's about the technique using that camera. It's these little tiny hacks that, you know, people go, I don't want to buy that camera because it has a really short battery life. And 2 hours and 52 minutes or 2 hours and 15 minutes on a video on a battery is pretty darn small on a battery. But again, look at the size of this thing. It's not that big in the first place, so what do you expect? But to combat that, you can make a little DIY versions and just have it hooked up to an extension cord. What's wrong with that? How long it takes to charge these things? That's another big question we get all the time. To charge 100% takes a full hour. From absolutely nothing to 100% battery, it takes an hour to do that. It takes 45 minutes to 75%, you know, and 30 minutes to 50%, so on and so forth. But an hour to charge this from absolutely dead to full. So that's not that bad. And I can basically have an extra charger off to the side, charge that battery while I'm using this one, so on and so forth. But his main question was, what camera is best for a very small budget to get both time-lapse and great video? So this camera is definitely it. I mean, it can get great video, 1920 by 1080p, 30 frames per second, can record up to 2 hours and 15 minutes on a full charge, so that's not that bad. Then on a time-lapse, with a DSLR or a main shoulder camera or something like that, you're going to get maybe a little bit better video. You're going to get 60 frames per second probably, and 1920 by 1080. So you're going to get a little bit better video. Again, that law of diminishing returns comes in, but you're going to get better video. You're going to be able to zoom in with a DSLR or a studio camera or something like that. So that's good. And I would very much encourage, if you want to be able to zoom in, if you're recording video and you're not worrying about the time lapse, get a DSLR or get a shoulder cam, because that's going to be a lot better for you. But if you're looking for something simple to get just regular video of your band or some of that, or with great audio, because this thing has awesome microphones on it, and if you're looking at time lapses, you know, you can go out there and spend, I think it's $100 or something like that on a what's called an intervalometer on your DSLR. That enables your DSLR to take photos every second or whatever interval you tell it to. But that's $100. Why spend the extra $100 on a $1,000 DSLR like the Canon T5i when you can get a GoPro to do that for you? And then while you're recording the a time lapse over here with this GoPro, take that same DSLR that you have, and just go out there and shoot video. So you can do a lot with GoPro cameras, and I very much encourage getting one. Maybe it shouldn't be the only camera in your tool bag, because again, it doesn't get great close-ups, and I think DSLRs are better for just regular video purposes. But with that, have the GoPro on hand. It's going to be very, very useful for you. You're going to be able to do underwater videography and get pictures of fishes and stuff like that. Really neat stuff. And you won't have to worry about the rain at all. There's plenty of times when I had to shoot in the rain. I didn't take my main cameras because I didn't want to. We shot the entire videos, all those videos with GoPros, because we were out in the rain, we were out in the snow or something like that. That's when you use the GoPro. That's when these things come in handy. They are very inexpensive for what they are. So I hope you've learned something today. And if you have any questions on the GoPro, please ask us in the comments below, or please private message me on Facebook, or please go to mhnews.info and submit using our new online form for our questions. Give us your questions. Tell us what you think about the GoPro. Share with others what you've learned about the GoPro. Maybe there's something that you know that we don't know. This is a full range video experience where basically we're learning from you and you're learning from us. So please comment below and tell us what you think of the GoPro camera lines, what you think is best. The new GoPro Hero 4 Session just came out. Tell us what you think about that. We'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm not going to buy one because I don't like the new design. I don't like that, but hey, maybe you do. So tell us what you think about it. Thanks for joining us today, and see us back here every Monday and Thursday for brand new episodes. Have a great week, everyone. See us next time. Bye.